mostly about what's going on in the world today. A lot of people, they don't realize what's going on in the world. I mean, you look at the earthquakes that are happening, you look at the tornadoes that are happening, you look at the shootings that are happening, and people don't realize that they kind of ask and wonder why. Well, where's God in all this? Where's the faith at? And chapter 3 in Ecclesiastes kind of shows you that there's a time for everything. Things are going to happen, and the sad thing is, it's just the way that God has designed it. So as we begin in verse 1, it says, "For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven." Now, what that means, guys, is that there are things that's going to happen that's going to occur here on earth. Yes, heaven is a grateful place. Heaven is a perfect place, but here on earth it is not so perfect. Just as seasons change, just as winter comes and goes, just as summer comes and goes, things in our life will come and go. There's going to be death, there's going to be life. Chapter 2, there's going to be a time to be born and a time to die. Now, verse 2. There's going to be a time to die and a time to be born, but we don't have to take that so in text, and they can be taken out of text. When it says the time to be born, that means there's going to be a time that we can live again. When things come to pass, when you suffer the most heartache and you feel like you're just dead or you're dying, it's going to be normal. It's going to come a time where you just feel like you're at your absolute low and you feel like you're just dead. You feel like there's nowhere to go. But then it says there's going to be a time to die. When there's also a time to die, it's going to be we're going to experience times in our lives where we're going to be, sorry, I kind of just said that. When I say a time to be born, which means that we're going to rise up from what we just experienced. It's going to be where we get brought back from that point in which we were down. Verse 3. There's going to be a time to kill and a time to heal. When we say that, that means that there's going to be a time where we have to kill off the things that we do. There's going to be a time that we have to kill off just our flesh by itself. Because, the things that we are involved with, the things that we deal with, we know for sure that we should be dealing with it. There's going to be sometimes that events happen on earth that's going to cause wars, and sometimes that in the country you have to fight for what you believe in. And the sad thing is, that's when the time will be to have to kill. Because if you got a country coming over here to another country trying to invade us, what are we gonna have to do? You can't just sit and talk about it the whole time. No, you're gonna have to kill. And it's not like the Bible says, yeah, to go out and kill people randomly, but no, there's gonna be a time that in your life that you're gonna see killing. There's gonna be a time where someone breaks into your house and tries to kill you, and the only thing you can do in self-defense is kill somebody. It's a sad part of life, but then there's also a time to heal. Just because you had experienced that thing that killed doesn't mean that you have to stay with it. When we say that there's a time to heal, what that's going to mean is that we're going to heal from it. There's stuff that's going to happen where you will see all the killing, but that doesn't mean you can go and heal that person. That doesn't mean that that person's family. There's gonna be times where you want to heal from a death that happened in your life to your family members, but there's that time of healing. See, the thing is, for every opposite, for every negative, there's a positive. A time to tear down and a time to build up. There'll be sometimes people that you have to tear down those walls. There'll be a time where you have to tear down yourself in general to let people come in. Like a lot of us, we have these walls that are built up. We have these issues that we deal with, and we just keep them up. We have friends that we won't let in, our family members we won't let in. We just have this wall. But sometimes they have to be tore down. But then when it says a time to build up, when you rebuild those walls yet again, you build those walls around your friends, not from your friends. You build that wall with your friends in them, but also you be curious not to just let everybody into that wall. When you go down again, a time to cry on verse 4 and a time to laugh. Crying is not a bad thing. A lot of us, when we think about crying, we think about, man, I can't cry from this person, I can't cry from that person. What we don't realize is crying is actually good for you. Crying actually helps reduce stress. It helps kind of let out any problems that you're facing. That's why when you see people get mad, they cry. When you see people something sad happens, they cry, because that's some people's only outlet. And a lot of people, we hold it in, also it causes health issues, it causes so many issues that we don't realize. But it's like, you got to realize it's going to be a time to cry. It's going to be a time of sadness. It's going to be a time of grief. It's going to be a time of just, you just want to break down and cry, which is also part of a healing process. But then it goes to say that there's going to be a time to laugh. There's going to be things that are going to make us laugh, because the time to, after you cry, a lot of people, they do laugh it off. They do try to find some outlet to make them laugh. That's why people watch comedy shows. A lot of people they just want to make people laugh, which is what you need. You can't go the whole day and the whole year's crying, because you're just going to be bitter, you're going to be sad, you're going to be just awful the whole time. But then when you laugh, that brings the spirit to let you know that, hey, there's more to life. It says there's going to be a time to grieve and a time to dance. When we say there's going to be a time to grieve, we're going to need those grieving periods. There's going to be times we need to kind of take out and just need to grieve. A lot of people say, well, let me go talk to this person. No, there's going to be those times where that person just needs to grieve by themselves. And it's normal. It's going to happen. Whether they just discover that they got a bad test score from, maybe my bills are not being paid. There's going to be that time to just grieve, just let it all out, pray. But then there's going to be a time to dance. The time to dance is when you know that God's going to bring you up from that grief. That's when you dance, like the famous, you're going to dance like Jacob danced. And if you don't know that, Jacob was so happy that he danced naked through the streets. And sometimes, David, he danced like, David, he was just so happy about it that, there's times where we just feel like dancing because, once you figure it out, hey, like, once I found out that, I passed my test for the state, I definitely danced. It was great, it was wonderful. But a lot of people feel shameful for dancing. Like, people are like, while we're in church, praising and worshiping, people get so intimidated that they're sitting there and clap, but that's your time to dance. See, the thing is, the Bible tells you to dance. Verse 5, there's going to be a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones. There's going to be a time where, you're going to have to, you may have to separate some things from your life. You may have to put this over here, put that over here. A lot of people become so overwhelmed with things that they don't know their right from left. You got bills over here, right here. Then you got you got your worries right here. You got your family life right here. You got your church life right here. You got your car right here. You got your life right here. You got all sorts of things that are around you that you don't really realize what's going on. But then when you gather those things, when you gather those stones, you make sure that they're right where you need them to be. When you gather them together, you make sure that you have everything in order. You make sure that your life is in order before you gather these stones back together. Verse 6. There's going to be a time to search and a time to quit searching. Now, what we got to realize is a lot of us, we try to search for answers. And sometimes we just got to stop. A lot of us, like I was saying before, we wonder why, death happens. We wonder why sickness happens. We wonder why we just can't pay our phone bill. We wonder why this, we wonder why that. And all that time to search it, and all thing you're doing is keep hurting yourself. You keep bringing yourself back down into depression. You keep feeling sad about yourself because you keep searching for answers when there's no answers to be found. Sometimes God will place things in our life that we just can't figure out. There will be times when we wonder why our spouse is mad at us. Sometimes don't look for why they're mad at us. Just leave them alone and let them rebuild. And then it says there's gonna be a time to search. Now, when you try to find, when you try to search for answers, do it diligently. Don't just go out and try to find answers just like that. When you're having, let's say, the pastor says something that you don't agree with, that's the time to search it up. A lot of people don't want to search it because they're like, well, he's a pastor, he knows what he's talking about, and then a lot of people don't realize that he's just another human being like you and me. That's when we can take the time out to search it. Because there are answers to be found in that. There's answers to be found in the Bible. That's when you search for things. When you're having issues with life or whatever, you search the Bible. There's going to be, following that, a time to keep and a time to throw away. There are things in our life that we probably want to keep. Our family, our friends. I mean, there's some stuff in life that if you treasure, then keep it. Yes. If your mother gave you this ring and she wants you to have it, keep it. But then there's some things that we need to throw away. And whether it's big or small, some people will not get rid of it. Like if people have a problem with explicit videos and movies, you tell them, hey, get rid of that laptop. No, they will not get rid of that laptop. Or problems with their cell phone. If they can't stay off their cell phone and it's becoming a habit to them, you tell them to throw that cell phone away, they're not going to do it. But see, the thing is, like the Bible says, there's a season to throw away things. There may come a time where you need to sit back and evaluate your life and try to figure out what in my life is I need to keep and what in my life I need to throw away. Because I can tell you there's some things in my life that I probably should throw away, and there's some things in my life that I probably should keep. But sometimes we want to throw away the things we want to keep, or the things we should keep. Like if you have your Bible just laying around, like an old ordinary Bible, how quick are we to throw it away? Like, well, sometimes I'm not going to use this. Or an old magazine or a book we're not reading, I'm not going to use this. But the things we need, like if we have an unopened can of beans or whatever, that's for you to eat, you're throw it away in a heartbeat. And that's where it goes, people. Sometimes we need to know what we need to throw away and what we need to keep. Then verse 7, there's going to be a time to tear and a time to mend. Sometimes we're going to have to tear people down. Even as Christians, you're going to have to tear some people down. A lot of us, we like to go as Christians and think, man, well, we got to be nice, we got to be perfect all the time, we got to be, just these all-around good people, and we don't believe in bad people, and we don't believe in bad works. But sadly, that's not true. There are going to be times where we're going to have to tear people down. We're going to have to tear. I'm not saying tear them down like in a bad way, like, oh no, you're going to hell for sure. What I mean is like you tear them down, but you do it in a godly manner. You let them see what they're doing wrong, and then when we go a time to mend, you also be that person to mend them. A lot of us, we take the initiative and we break them down, but then we don't have the balls to go back and try to bring them back up. And we really don't. We're quick to tell people, oh, you're going to hell. I know this because you're a Christian, but then where's that same Christian that told them that to bring them back up again? Dang it, if you're going to bring somebody down, then I expect you to bring them back up. If you're going to tell me, well, I suck at basketball, but I expect you to be there to bring me back up. I expect you to be there and practice with me. So if you're going to bring somebody down about their religion, you should be there to also to train them, to help them, to guide them. Don't just tear them down and then leave them down. There can be a time to be quiet and a time to speak. I believe in the Christian word today that we got that reversed. I mean, there's times when we decide not to speak when we should be speaking. I mean, it's sad to see. I was watching an interview with the guys from South Park not too long ago, and then they were talking about how they were going to go and show Allah on TV. And the thing is, what they came to realize was that the Muslims actually sent bomb threats and said that we will blow up half America if you show Allah, and they backed off. But they went on national TV and said, well, then Jesus is just open game, and no Christian spoke up about it. I mean, Facebook bad comments about it. Oh no, did you hear what? But I mean, the fact that there are some people out there willing to, hey, I'll blow up your nation if you show this, but we sit back and we let Jesus, the man who we say we love, the man who we say, oh man, we would do anything for, get blasted on national TV, and we do nothing about it. That's the time that you speak up. Those are the times that you stand up and say, hey, that's not right. Those are the times that you just sit back, that you don't sit back, and you take matters, I don't want to say necessarily into your own hands, but if you got a mouth, then speak. But then there's times where we do need to learn to be quiet. Like if, for example, if somebody comes to you and telling you about your issues, you don't start blasting them just because you know the Bible. You be quiet and you let them speak. You let them speak about their feelings that they're having, and then when they're done, that's when you proceed to talk. Verse 8. There's going to be a time to love and a time to hate. I know it says in the Bible that hate is just as bad as murder, and which it really is. But people as humans, there'll be times that you will hate people. I mean, I know at the job I am now, I come to those times, sadly, quite often, where you feel like you just want to choke somebody. But the thing is, you have to realize as humans, that is going to be normal. A lot of people say, oh, I hate that person. Oh, no, I just really dislike. No, you said it the first time you hate them. And the sad thing is, there's nothing that we can, our flesh is going to hate. It's going to hate people. I mean, it's just point blank. Our flesh is going to hate people. But we have to be the ones to also love them. I mean, it's kind of like they say, your body's at war with itself sometimes. You want to hate them, but you also want to love them also. And the thing is, you kill them with kindness. If you hate them that bad, then kill them with kindness. And you kill them with love. I mean, you have to sometimes dive deep inside to just be like, you know what, man, I want to punch you in the face, but bring it in for a hug. I mean, because you rather show the love of Christ than the hatred of the devil. Then there's going to be a time for war and a time for peace. And that just goes either way. You're going to experience things in your life where, whether it's spiritual warfare, you're always going to be at a spiritual warfare. But there may be times in your life that you're going to be at a time for peace also. But sad to say, a nation today, you're seeing it all around you. Everybody wants to bomb somebody. Everybody wants to blow up this country. Who wants to blow up this country? Who wants to blow up that country? Will there ever be peace? Yes, it says right in the Bible that it's going to be a time for peace. And right now we have to strive for that, for wanting that peace. So that's why we keep peace in the household. You don't let the outside environment affect what goes in your household. You don't let the outside environment affect on what goes in your personal life. Because sometimes we can bring that same war that you're fighting into your own home. Like I was talking with a buddy of mine. Him and his wife is on the phone at work arguing about the Korean and the U.S. Tiff that's going on. Like, really? But yet they're bringing that same war into their own home. That's when the time for peace comes. That's when, people don't realize, but you give it up to God. You give everything up to God, and You don't fight that war. You let them fight that war. You worry about your own war. You got to fight. And when there's peace in your house, then you let them stay peace. In verse 9, it says, "What do people really get for all their hard work? I haven't seen the burden of God. I have seen the burden God has placed on us all. Yet God has made everything beautiful for its own time. He has planted eternity in the human heart, but even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end. People, we will never understand why God is who He is. I mean, granted, we can fully expect it. I mean, we can try our best to understand why He is who He is, but the sad thing is, we're always going to have questions. And the thing is, we ask, what do people really get for all their hard work? People, the thing is, you look around and you see what you get for all your hard work. Your life shows what you get. I mean, if you're a hard worker and you're at work every day, you never call out, you're doing everything without arguing, then it's going to show. I mean, when it's time for promotion, and next thing you know, you're the owner of the company, your hard work is going to show. Verse 11. Yet God has made everything. Verse 12. So I conclude, there is nothing better than to be happy and enjoy ourselves as long as we can. Guys, we got to be happy. I mean, going around being that negative Nancy all the time ain't gonna work. I mean, a lot of people want to go around, hey, feel sorry for me, boo-hoo, my life is this, my life is that. It's not gonna cut it today. I mean, when you're actually trying to, be happy, and people act like it's the hardest thing to do is just go out and enjoy yourselves. Verse 13. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor, for these gifts are from God. If you enjoy what you have, I mean, a lot of people, they like to be stingy with what they have. They're very, no, this is mine. No, you have to enjoy what you have. I mean, if God bless you with it, then get it. A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to get this car because it's this and that. If you earned that car, then you get that car. If you earned all the food you have, then by God, eat it up. Verse 14. And I know whatever God does is final. Nothing can be added or nothing can be taken away from it. God has a final say in everything. Nobody can add what God has given you, and nobody can take away from what God has given you. We sometimes, if we get a new house, well, we sit here and say, well, yeah, this house is nice, but now I want a bigger one. The thing is, we can't change what God has for us, but I bet you God can sure take it away, though. I mean, if you already have a car, don't sit here and say, well, I wish I had a nicer car, I want this kind of car, I want this kind of car. If God bless you with a good running car, then be happy with that car. It says, God's purpose is that people should fear Him. God only wants us to just worship Him. A lot of people try to live life too perfect, when only thing God asks for is for you to worship Him, is for you to just take out your time, just to praise Him, just to pray for, pray to Him, and just love Him. And it says, verse 15, what is happening now has happened before, and what will happen in the future has happened before, because God makes the same things happen over and over again. The thing we got to realize is, God knows exactly what's going to happen. And the thing is, we try to change what's going to happen. And we ask God, why isn't this happening? People, the thing is, tornadoes have been going on for years. Um, Killings have been happening for years. Uh, it just happens in different scenarios. Back then people used to slay thousands of people with swords just for no reason. But today you got people with guns that they will go and they will kill hundreds of people with weapons. It's going to happen. What happened in the past is going to happen. And the thing is, we have to realize that as a season, it's going to come and go. Just like people have been poor in the past, if you've been poor in the past, there may be a time where, yeah, you're rich in the future, but then it may happen again to where if you get too boastful about yourself, you'll be right back on your hump again. I mean, we're done out of the Bible, but the thing is, with seasons, or the whole thing with wanting to change or wanting to try to do things for yourself. Things people we can't do it ourselves. You know, when I first got into church really good, it's like I always wonder why. Like when I lost my job at the state, and then I lost my then we had a failed pregnancy. It's like you kind of wonder why. You kind of wonder why. Well, why is it that nobody wants to be my friend, or why is it that I can't find a house? Why is it that it seems like I'm going to be homeless? The thing is, as seasons come and seasons go, those issues are going to come and go. We will never escape seasons. As long as there's going to be a winter, as long as you're around, there will always be a winter. There will always be a summer, spring, and fall. We have to realize that we're not capable of changing the seasons. We can try our best. We can say, well, I'm going to save up money. I'm going to save, put all my money away, and we're just going to save and save and save. Well, that is the time to plant. That is the time to, plant everything that you got. But then, what we forget is there's going to be a time that you have to sow what you just planted. There's going to be a time that you have to dig into that bank account. You got $1,000 saved up in your bank account. You're looking all happy. All of a sudden, you're driving down the road and your car shuts off. Then then time to figure out that, hey, I got to dish out $1,500 in mechanic payment. Now I have no place to. Well, I have no way to work. I might lose my job. You have to call and tell your job. Hey, I'm sorry I can't come to work. Then now you just lost money. But then again, here's the other season comes around where where you've been diligent in your tithes and offering, and all of a sudden somebody says, well, hey, let me pay for your car for you. Let me bring it into the garage. But we got to stay faithful during those hard times, during that winter where food is scarce, where nothing's not there, until spring comes again and brings life back. That's the time to be diligent. It's like just like the seasons. Your winter could be your worst moments, where you feel like there's nothing, where nothing is growing, nothing's alive, that's the dark time of your life. But then when it comes to spring, in spring and summer comes, that's when everything's alive again. That's the time where God was still God in the winter, and God will still be God in the summer. We as a church have to realize that seasons are natural, and the only way we can explain what's going on, why God does what He does or allows to happen what happens, is because it was just a season. So when you get that urge to just cry, when you get that urge to just want to grieve, then grieve. When you get that urge to dance because something just happened, then dance. Don't let nobody here stop you from dancing. Don't let nobody stop you from laughing, because you earned it. Because there was a time where you didn't want to dance. There was a time where you wanted to grieve. There was a time where you wanted to hate. Don't let somebody stop your seasons from coming. Because I can promise you, just tomorrow you may fall into that time where you need that, where it's that grieving season. You can just find out once you get to work, well, you just lost your job. You made a mistake, and now we want you gone. That's a time to grieve. But remember, the time we dance is when you fill out another job application that same day and get hired that same day again. Because we don't let seasons affect us. We let the seasons come and go as they are, and we just let them happen. So I want to thank you guys for listening, and hope you guys have a great one.